Tracking Dorian right now, our entire state is paying very close attention.
The hurricane on a track toward Florida, triggering the governor to issue a state of emergency. WPTV crews following the preparations happening now in case the storm impacts us.
First, Storm Team 5 has the 11 o'clock update on Dorian, and we begin with our chief meteorologist, Steve Weigel. Steve?
Yes, Justine, and some new information to pass along. The storm continues to gain strength, now 85 miles an hour, and forecast to become a major hurricane on Saturday or Sunday. It is a little less than 1,000 miles away from South Florida, but the computer model tracks coming into better agreement tonight on that track being a threat to the east coast of Florida. In and out with the eye and really the inner structure of this hurricane during the day. It was just a messy tropical storm. Last night and early this morning, it generated into a hurricane as it passed just to the east of Puerto Rico, and there was no interaction with land. The high mountainous areas of Hispaniola, it's about 250 miles to the east of that in the last 24 hours, and that made a massive difference on the strength of this tonight. There was no land interaction other than just a touch in eastern Puerto Rico, and the radar coming out of San Juan shows a well-defined eye and the bands and the inner core developing in this hurricane, which will protect it from dry air near the center in the next few days. So it is expected to continue to strengthen. Look at that band there that's formed as it comes off the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. Here's the forecast track, up to 90 by tomorrow morning, and we're up to 100 Thursday. That's late in the day. And we're up to strong Category 2 on Friday. That's later in the evening. Saturday, Category 3, 115 miles an hour as it turns toward the west-northwest and becomes a threat to East Coast Florida. There's Sunday, 8 p.m., just off the coastline of the Treasure Coast. Important to remember, this is an error cone, not a point. We could easily see a track to the south around Miami or Lauderdale, or up to the north around Jacksonville, and moves inland after that, weakens to a Category 1. That's Monday evening at about 8 p.m. So that's the track and the consensus thinking at this point with the computer model tracks. Most of them pretty good agreement. A Canadian modeled outlier there just a little farther south, but they all pretty much match up as they make it towards South Florida, the Euro model. And a new Euro model will come in around 2 in the morning. This one, the current Euro model, bringing in a Palm Beach County. Most models have a significant hurricane threatening our area, though. What changed today? A lot. We had a weak tropical storm last night, now a hurricane arriving later Sunday and into Monday. Seems to be the peak weather here. Model shifting south and now north tonight a little bit by a few miles. Doesn't really make any difference. The only real impact with the 11 p.m. advisory is that the winds have bumped up just a touch to 85 miles an hour. So still in the Bahamas on Saturday. The outer bands arrive on Sunday. Strong winds and rain possible on Monday as the peak winds and the storms start to approach South Florida. It's steered along by high pressure, the Bermuda high, and James Wieland and I have been watching it during the day, and we expect it'll strengthen again, and that's what is really going to cause this turn, right, James?
Yeah, here's the problem, though, with the forecast and the uncertainty is we're juggling two balls in the air here. We have an upper level low that's sinking down to the south, and we have high pressure that's going to build off to the east and to the west, and that's what's going to steer the storm. Plus, on top of that, we're trying to hit a moving target because all of this is moving right now. If it wasn't moving and we had this scenario, the storm would just split the uprights and stay out to sea. Our big turning point is going to come on Friday. That's when this high starts to push westward and nudge the storm a little bit farther to the west, northwest, instead of the northwest. Because you think of this high as a big mountain, and the storm can't go up and over the mountain. It has to roll along the edge of that. This low will move out of the way, and that will open up the gates for this storm to push into Florida. It's just when it makes that turn, how sharp will be the turn. Here are the wind probabilities and the times of arrival here, and we think the probability for the most likely time that we may see tropical storm force winds will be on Sunday morning, and you see how quickly everything increases here. We're even in the 70% range, and this is 4 or 5 days out for folks on the Treasure Coast and even down to Jupiter before things start to wind down a little bit. We'll be able to narrow this down as time comes up here in the next few days.
James, Steve, thank you.